Zacharias Goldman's second-in-command was a young and beautiful beta. His friends, thinking he had never done anything to the beta, often laughed at his incompetence. "She's a cute female. Are you sure you can hold it back?" Zacharias leaned into the back of the couch lazily. His voice was oozing with nonchalance. "I can't. She's delicious." That shocked the crowd. Mikhail Crosswing, his best friend, whistled. "And I thought you were loyal to the end. Loyal to Lucilla. She's going to raise hell if she finds out." Zacharias chortled. "Ah, yes, she can be a headache when she does that. That's why you boys need to cover for me. The bonding ceremony is in 3 days. I don't want anything to go wrong." The boys cackled and promised they would keep their mouths sealed. I was standing right outside the door. I heard everything, but all I did was leave in silence. The mate ring was still in my hand, but the bonding ceremony was not going to happen. On my way back, every single pack member who saw me had nothing but envy for my luck. I could hear them talking about me non-stop. "That's the luckiest she-wolf in Dawn Pack. The heir to the Alpha throne has wanted her ever since 5 years ago. Yeah, and now he's marrying her right after he takes the top spot. Their bonding ceremony is going to be the biggest event of the pack." The old me would have felt wrapped in bliss if she had heard the praises. Now they were nothing but mockery to my ears. 5 years ago, Zacharias, then heir to the throne, confessed to me during the coming-of-age ceremony. "My wolf can't contain his excitement since he saw you. Your scent is intoxicating. Will you accept my hand, my dear lady?" Then we dated for 5 years. He loved me, spoiled me, and remembered every single detail about me. What I liked, what I didn't, and more. Every year, he would throw a lavish party just for my birthday. All the females in the pack were jealous of me. They called me the luckiest she-wolf around. The old me shared their sentiment. And then the man who claimed he loved me with all his heart cheated on me. His words kept ringing in my mind. They were breaking me down, pushing me deeper into the darkness. My legs took me back to the villa, though I had no idea how. The first thing I felt was something tripping me. When I saw the thing lying on the ground, I gasped. My moon veil. I picked this out myself. What's it doing down here? I spent 6 months collecting moon veil. It was rare. I even hired a seamstress to make it into a curtain. But now it was lying on the ground like common trash. The sight hurt my heart. I was going to ask the butler what was going on, but then a beautiful woman came out of the kitchen holding a cleaning cloth. Her hair was maroon and curled up. Her eyes were a shade of light blue that could suck anyone's attention. She folded the cloth up and gave me a glance. When she spoke, she was haughty. "I'm sorry, Ms. Windsor. The Alpha's been losing sleep these past few days. I changed the curtains out for something that could block the sunlight better. I just want him to sleep better. And also, the room's a bit too messy for my liking, so I tidied it up." I stared at the woman. She was Zacharias' beta, Yvonne Wood. She helped Zacharias handle the whole territory. I seldom saw her. To be honest, this was technically our first meeting. The villa was not the one I remembered. All the adorable decors I got from the werewolf bazaar were stuffed in a cabinet unceremoniously. They were replaced with the emblem of the pack. The photos of me and Zacharias that were supposed to be hanging from the walls were replaced with expensive paintings. This used to be a warm home, but now it was cold and uninviting. This woman erased all traces of me. She saw the look on my face, and a mocking smile curled her lips. "The Alpha's territory is supposed to be sacred and solemn. You're but a noble who knows nothing about decorum. Perhaps you should leave this to the professionals." The humiliation made me scarlet, but I could not even say a word. Then Zacharias hurried into the scene. "What are you doing here, Yvonne?" I could hear the panic rolling off his voice. Yvonne nodded at Zacharias and started telling him about her work progress. She was professional. "I changed your curtains to something that can keep the sunlight out better, but Ms. Windsor isn't too thrilled about it." Coolly, Zacharias dismissed her. "This villa belongs to me and Lucilla. Never come here again. She calls the shots in this house." Yvonne bit her lip. She was staring at Zacharias with tearful eyes. A frown creased his forehead. With a colder voice, Zacharias said, "Leave. Do not make me repeat myself." I thought this whole show was ironic. If I hadn't overheard that conversation, they might have fooled me. 5 years. 5 years I spent thinking I was in passionate love. In the end, it was but a den of lies. In the end, Yvonne left with a soul full of reluctance, though she gazed at Zacharias before she did. Zacharias did not return her gaze. He gently caressed my bangs. Don't get mad at her, Lucilla. She's just used to helping me out. A momentary pause later, he added with a hint of hesitation. But I think she has a point. The elders always hold their meetings in the territory. It's better if the place looks more formal. That was a quiet slap in the face of my dignity. I hung my head low, mortified. Ever since I moved in, Zacharias gave me carte blanche to do anything I wanted. The old Zacharias told me in a loving voice, "This is our home now. You can do whatever you want with it. I don't mind." Now he crushed everything I did. I was going to say something, but then his phone rang. A hint of anger flickered across his face. I explicitly told them today is for you and you only. Who's disturbing me now? I can't believe they're disobeying my direct order. When he saw the name on the screen, he froze up. It was Yvonne's name. Zacharias put his phone away. Fidgeting, he said, "I know we're supposed to pick out the wedding stuff today, but the elders just said." I refused to hear his lies any further. Instead I said, "It's all right. Work's important, I know." He gave me a tender look and smiled at me. Then he kissed my forehead. "I knew you'd understand." He left without saying another word. I saw him off, though my mind was on something else. Something more turbulent. I wondered if he was going to see Yvonne. I hung on to some foolish hope that maybe, just maybe, he was going to handle work. Driven by those thoughts, I followed him. Zacharias did not leave the territory. Instead, he went to his second-in-command's residence and knocked on her door quietly. Yvonne peeked out of her yard. She was wearing a red slip dress that hung to her body and showed off all her curves. Zacharias looked down. All he saw was Yvonne now. "I thought you wouldn't show up. So tell me who's prettier, me or her?" Yvonne put on a seductive smile. She grabbed Zacharias' arm and led him inside. The moment the door swung shut, all my strength left me, and I slumped down to the ground. I knew this was coming, but seeing his betrayal right in front of my eyes still hit my heart hard. The man who loved me with all his heart was gone. Dead. I wiped the tears off my eyes and pushed myself back up. Now that he had someone else, it was time for me to bow out of this relationship. I grabbed all the Luna keepsake and went to the city hall. Then I handed them over to the registration elder. The elder pushed his spectacles and slowly unfurled my bloodline scroll. Hesitant, he asked, "Are you sure you're leaving the pack, Lucilla? If this goes through, you will be stripped of all status. You will no longer be tied to the Dawn Pack. Even after death, your soul will not return to our holy land." I nodded. "I'm sure." The elder was conflicted. He said, "The Alpha has told us that you are to be Luna. Once the bonding ceremony is over, you will reign over all females. Are you sure you want to leave the pack now? That seems like a shame." I closed my eyes and pondered my decision again. Then my eyes snapped open, filled with determination. "I don't share that sentiment, elder. Please process the paperwork for me." A heavy sigh escaped the elder's lips, but he respected my wish and did the paperwork. "The verification will take 2 days. Once that is done, you will no longer be part of the pack. Your details will be deleted from the database. You have 3 days to leave the pack." I nodded in silence and bought a flight ticket that was scheduled for 3 days later. When I came back to the territory, I saw Zacharias standing at the villa's entrance looking all nervous. He noticed me and strode up to me. "Where were you, Lucilla? You didn't tell me you were going somewhere. I was worried sick when I couldn't find you." He checked me closely and breathed a sigh of relief. I was fine, it seemed. Then I checked the time. That process at the city hall took 3 whole hours. Yet he only realized I was gone not too long ago. He must have only finished his affair with Yvonne. The villa's stuffy, so I wanted to get some fresh air in the woods. I lied naturally. Yes, I could do that to Zacharias now. Zacharias held me tightly. When he spoke, his voice was trembling. "You could have asked for me. Don't go alone. The woods are dangerous. There are rogues there. You could have gotten hurt. His fresh scent assailed me, but then I noticed something else. A scent belonging to fruits. It was sickly sweet, and it made me retch. I pushed him away. Nervously he patted my back. What's wrong? Did you eat some of the wood's fruits? I turned my head away so I wouldn't taste that sickly sweet stench again. Only then did I manage to keep my bile down. No, my walk just took a bit too much out of me. I need some rest, I explained. Still, something was making me uneasy. I'll stay with you. He took me to the bedroom, but a moment later, Yvonne knocked on the door again. Alpha, something's wrong with the territory's expense account. I might need your help for this. She did not show any hint that said she was sorry. Her eyes were filled with a challenge. Zacharias stopped in his steps. He was conflicted, unsure of what he should do. Like the understanding fiancé I was, I pushed him outside. Work's important. I can rest up by myself. Yvonne took Zacharias away. She held her head up high, strutting like she'd won something. Provocation did nothing to me. Something more pressing was waiting for me. The healer gave me the report. I was 3 weeks pregnant. The news stunned me. Just when I decided to leave Zacharias, I was pregnant with his pup. The baby's healthy and so are you. Congratulations, you're going to be a mother. I took the ultrasound report with trembling hands. My mind was reeling. I tucked the report in my pocket. I should talk with him, I thought. For our children, I would give him one last chance. However, the moment I came out of the consultation room, I saw Zacharias holding Yvonne as they carefully entered the room next door. These rooms were exclusively for expecting mothers. Yvonne noticed me, and her gaze lingered on me for a moment. I had no idea how I even walked out of the healing chamber. My legs took me right up to the borders of the pack's land, and I stopped right beside the woods, my mind still in a state of confusion. My wavering heart steeled itself again. I would leave the pack, along with my unborn child. Then I turned around, and Yvonne was in my way. You guessed it, didn't you? I'm pregnant. It's Zacharias. Yvonne caressed her belly. There was no mistaking the challenge in her eyes. He was delighted when he found out. Insisted on a full body checkup. He promised me the spot of Luna, since my pup will be the next alpha. Yvonne's bragging tore my heart into tiny little pieces. The promises he used to give me. Now he was giving them away to someone else freely. The only thing I had left was an illusion of love. Yvonne suddenly darted closer. She whispered in my ear, I'll need you to disappear. My child doesn't need you around. She stuffed a dagger into my hand and slammed her arm into its edge. Don't hurt me, Lucilla. Yvonne fell to the ground screaming. She clamped her hand over her wound and shivered like a victim. What are you doing, Lucilla? Zacharias strode up to us, and held up Yvonne like she was the most precious thing in the world. Then he saw the dagger I was holding. It was covered in silver nitrate. The realization drove him into a bout of rage. You attacked Yvonne with a silver weapon? How could you? I thought you were better than this, Lucilla. His gaze was colder than the winter winds. Yet they burned me like the flames of hell. I was going to explain myself, but Zacharias was already taking Yvonne away. Then something silver shone in Yvonne's hands. A dozen silver needles pricked my throat. The agony made me black out, and I fell to my knees. Zacharias ignored this. Instead he told me, reflect on what you did. You're not coming back until the bonding ceremony. He picked up Yvonne and held her in his arms. Then he leaped into the distance. I saw the triumphant smile curling Yvonne's lips. And then only silence was my companion. The sun was already setting. Night only made the woods more treacherous. No werewolf would enter the woods alone after sundown. The man who would never let me wander alone left me to fend for myself. I scrambled to get myself back up. Then I ran as fast as my legs could take me. Something was rustling behind me. I sensed them. They were coming. They were gaining. My hair stood on end, and I ran faster, my hand clamped against my throat. The needles buried themselves against my throat, and the silver was stopping the wounds from closing up. Blood was pouring down my skin, and it drenched the soil underneath. The rustling was getting louder, more violent. The sweet scent of blood was exciting the rogues in the woods. I ran and ran, even when exhaustion was catching up to me, even when my body was screaming out to me. Eventually, I hit the limit, and I fell to the ground, but my mind shut down before I could hit the soil. I woke up finding myself in a healing pod. The healer told me the patrol squad saved me and took me to the healing chamber. The pod healed your wounds, but the silver ate your vocal cords. You might be. The healer's voice trailed off. I knew what it must be. Then she consoled me. The silver's already taken out. Maybe your healing factor can help with the vocal cord problem. All hope was lost. Then the healer grabbed my hand. Your baby is strong. It fought the silver off. It still lives. It's waiting for the day it can see you. That stunned me. I put my hand on my flat belly. Something warm soothed my heart. This child was Celine's gift for me. With it around, I was no longer lonely. I went through the paperwork and left the hospital. Before I did, I handed a gift box to the healer who helped me. Hand this over to the Alpha, I wrote on a piece of paper. The healer was a gentle lady. She said yes to my request, and gave me a ride to the airport. The day my status was stripped, I boarded the flight that would take me away from the pack. The ceremonial altar of the Dawn Pack. It would witness the most solemn bonding ceremony now. Zacharias could not overstate the importance of this ceremony. He spent a month decorating the altar until it was perfect. 9,999 moon roses circled the altar. These roses came from the dark forest by plane. The ceremony was about to begin. The pack members were all gathered. Yet I was not there. Where is Lucilla? She's supposed to be here. Zacharias was getting uneasy. Maybe she's still throwing a tantrum. She expects you to say you're sorry, said Yvonne. She was still trying to paint me as a childish person. A smile curled her lips. She wished I would never show up. She thought Zacharias would fly into a rage, but all he did was stay silent. Then he strode off. Where are you going, Alpha? She followed him in confusion. Zacharias said, I'm taking her back. They ran into an elder a moment later. Confused, the elder stopped him. Alpha, I thought the ceremony was cancelled. Lucilla has returned Luna's keepsake to us. Her details are deleted from the database. She has left the pack. Zacharias was shocked. When did that happen? No one told me about it. Yvonne was overjoyed. She knew I must have left because I had my heart broken into tiny little pieces. Now was not the time to celebrate, however. She held back her smile and calmed Zacharias down. Calm down, Alpha. This must be a prank from Ms. Windsor. It's never easy leaving a pack. She's an orphan. She grew up in the pack. She has nowhere else to go. That soothed Zacharias' panic a little, but he was still uneasy. She must be mad at me. I can't believe her. She hurt you, but she won't even apologize. Zacharias regretted it the moment he took Yvonne away and left me. The moment he put her down, he wanted to come back to me, but she winced and slid down to the ground. Terrified, Zacharias held her right away. I'm fine. You should go back to Ms. Windsor. I can handle this wound alone. She was paler than paper, and blood was flowing down her arm. She looked like a hurt puppy, not a beta. Zacharias could not leave her alone. He took her to the healing chamber to patch her up. It's her fault you're injured. I'll deal with this in her place. Once Yvonne was patched up, Zacharias tried to come back to the forest, but this time, Yvonne tugged at his shirt before he could leave. Alpha, you're the pack's most important person. The woods are dangerous at night. I'm your beta. I can't allow you to tread those grounds alone. But Lucilla is still there. Zacharias was worried, but Yvonne stood her ground. She's all right. I have it under control. She clapped her hands and asked Zacharias' personal guard to step up. She gave him a menacing look. I assume it is done? The guard wiped the sweat off his brow as he stammered. We have taken Ms. Windsor back to the territory safely. She refused to come with us, so I took her to the the Alpha's other villa. Yvonne waved him off dismissively. See? She's already settled down. If you still want to see her, I can take you there. She covered her arm as she walked out of the room, but she made sure to reopen her wound and drench her bandage in red. Zacharias let hesitation hold him back. No. I promised you an apology from her. I will not forgive her until she says sorry to you. Zacharias did not come to me until the ceremony. He thought I would show up on time, so he did not even give me a call. He had no idea I had my details wiped from the database and left the pack. My departure left him in shambles. Yvonne was calmly assessing the situation. The ceremony is starting soon. With your mate gone, you have two options in front of you. 1. Cancel the ceremony. 2. Find someone to replace your mate. Before you make your choice, I must tell you that all the pack's elders and alphas from neighboring packs will be attending this ceremony. If you cancel it without a good reason, it will hurt our reputation and more. Hope was kindling within Yvonne's eyes. She did not go to this length to have me leave, also Zacharias would cancel the ceremony. She had ambition. She wanted to take my place and go on with the ceremony with Zacharias. However, Zacharias gave his answer without even missing a beat. The ceremony is cancelled. Yvonne could no longer hold back. She lost her composure and shouted, "What? You can't cancel the ceremony. I can take her place." Zacharias looked at her like she'd just grown 2 heads. "Why would you have that idea, Yvonne? Only Lucilla can be my mate. No one can take her place." Agitated, Yvonne blurted out, "I am carrying your pup, and yet you'd stay single but not recognize me as your Luna?" Zacharias wanted to clamp her mouth shut, but he was too late. The elders were mortified, and they turned their attention to him. So this is why the Luna would rather leave the pack and have her details wiped? You betrayed her, Alpha. No, it's not what you think. This is an accident. Zacharias' forehead was covered in sweat. He gave Yvonne a withering glare. Think before you speak, Ms. Wood. You know better than to spew nonsensical rumors. All the color drained from Yvonne's face. She was in a daze, and Zacharias dragged her away. Once they were some distance away from the altar, Zacharias flung her arm off. Are you trying to ruin me? You can't say that when the elders are around. Yvonne was staring at him, tears rolling off her cheeks. But I'm already yours. I bear your pup. Now Lucilla is gone too. And yet you tell me you won't take responsibility for this. An impatient Zacharias rubbed his forehead. I told you that was a mistake. I took a pheromone enhancer by mistake and thought you were Lucilla. And you said you didn't mind. You said I didn't have to take any responsibility. You said it was your job as my second in command. He continued. And when you got pregnant, you told me you wanted to keep the child, and that I had nothing to do with it. I'm already trying my best to make it up to you. I made it very clear that Lucilla's the only one I love. She's the only one I'll make into my mate. Yvonne shook her head in disbelief. So you won't even take me even when she's gone. She caressed her belly in sorrow. With accusation in her voice, she said, The pup is yours. How could you let it be a bastard? Zacharias felt a headache coming on. He tried his best to stay calm. It's my fault you're pregnant with my child. I'll do my best to make it up to you, but I never would have made you my mate. You're my second in command and a great colleague. I can't imagine you becoming my mate. This relationship was a mistake from the beginning. Zacharias regretted everything about it. He felt guilty about the whole thing, so he let Yvonne's actions slide many times. That made her think she could kick me away and take my spot. She was wrong. And Lucilla won't leave me. She's just angry at me. If I can find her and apologize to her, really apologize to her, she'll forgive me. Even if she's already left the pack, she can still become Dawn Pack's Luna. The mention of my name softened Zacharias' gaze. What I'm trying to say is, I'll give you a place to live and enough money to support you, but I'll need you to never show up when Lucilla and I are around. She'll get jealous. A moment of silence later, he added, If you don't want the pup, you can give it to me after it's born. I'll hand it off to my mother. You have visitation rights. Anytime you want. Zacharias thought his arrangements were perfect, but Yvonne was looking darker with every passing moment. Immersed in his thoughts, Zacharias missed the look on her face. He called the beta's leader right away and told him to find out where I had gone. Yvonne was supposed to deal with matters like this, but Zacharias was starting to wonder if he should get a new second in command. Zacharias hurried over to the villa. He kept calling me, but none of his calls went through. A dozen times later, he gave up and sped up toward the villa. Everything was normal back home. The servants were cleaning up the place, but Zacharias' sudden appearance startled them. The butler hurried over to him and blurted, "You're home early, Alpha. How did the ceremony go?" Zacharias did not answer his question. Hurried, he asked, "Have you seen Lucilla? Has she come back?" Surprised, the butler fell into silence, then he answered, "I haven't seen Ms. Windsor in a couple of days. She has never returned to the 6. Zacharias strode up the stairs. My room was still the same as he remembered. The jewelry, clothes, and designer bags he gave me sat in their places. Zacharias heaved a sigh of relief. A smile curled his lips. I knew she wouldn't leave. Her stuff's still here. He glanced at the vanity, and his smile froze. My necessities, the clothes I wore the most, and the suitcase that had been gathering dust in the corner were gone. Panicked, he pulled the vanity's drawers open. What he saw inside made his legs turn to jelly. He fell to the ground. The drawers were empty. Everything about me was gone. She already made up her mind? The moment I got into that fight with Yvonne, I stopped coming back to the villa. I already had the idea of leaving before that day. Why, Lucilla? Why would you leave me? Panic was taking over Zacharias' heart. He spoiled me all throughout our relationship. We never had any arguments. I never showed any signs of anger. That made him wonder why I left. Did she find out about me and Yvonne? He thought. He realized what he'd done over the last couple of days. Then Yvonne lured him to her place, saying she had something nice to show him. Then he denied that thought. He kept his affair well under wraps. I had no chance of finding out. A disheartened Zacharias sat on the sofa and mulled it over all night, but he still had no idea why I would leave all of a sudden. Then the butler came rushing in and handed him a beautiful box. A healer called Annie sent this. She said it's from Ms. Windsor. Zacharias jumped out of his seat and grabbed the box. Immediately. I knew she wouldn't leave me. This is a clue. She wants me to find. The last word died in his throat as he opened up the box. He froze up like a petrified werewolf. Inside the box was my very first ultrasound report. She's pregnant. Zacharias' eyes went red. He laughed and cried at the same time like a madman. I'm going to be a father. Wait, but where is she? His excitement died down when he remembered I was missing. Then he remembered what his butler just said. Get me that healer right now. She must know where Lucilla is. This was Annie's first audience with the Alpha. She hung her head low, tentative. Lucilla wanted you to have it, Alpha. It's her request before she left. Zacharias' eyes were on her. He asked right away. Where is Lucilla? Is she pregnant? How's the pup? The questions hit Annie like a barrage. She answered them one by one. Ms. Lucilla is pregnant and her baby's fine. I took her to the airport 2 days ago, but I have no idea where she went. Zacharias called the beta's leader and told him to focus on the airport and find out where I went. Then something struck Zacharias. Curious, he asked. 2 days ago, you say? How did you meet her? Why would she be at the healing chamber? A hint of sympathy flashed across Annie's face. The patrol squad took her to the chamber. Rogues were hunting her down, but the patrol saw her just in time, and they saved her. A moment of silence later, she added, they were so close to hurting her. If the patrol had found her even 1 moment later, she could have been. The box fell out of Zacharias' hand and hit the ground with a thud. His face was ghostly white, and his body was shivering. No. Yvonne told me my guard took Lucilla B. Realization hit him, and confusion turned into fury. She lied to me. The guard did not take Lucilla back at all. He told his men to drag his personal guard in. The guard noticed Zacharias' dark look, and realized the jig was up. Terrified, he went down on his knees and begged for mercy. Ms. Wood told me to do it, Alpha. She said it was for your own safety. She said I'd be killed if anything happened to you. Zacharias had nothing but trust for Yvonne. He never thought she would do something like that behind his back. He rocketed up from his seat, and was about to demand an answer from Yvonne, but Annie quietly stopped him. There's something you must know, Alpha. She mustered up all her courage and told him about my damaged vocal cords. The rogues nearly caught Ms. Windsor because she was wounded. There were 13 needles lodged in her throat. All were covered in silver nitrate. She took out a golden handkerchief. Inside it were 13 needles. The silver ate her vocal cords. She might lose the ability to talk forever. Zacharias shivered. He was staring at the needles with crimson eyes. A powerful aura spilled from his body, and it toppled the furniture behind him. Yvonne. He suspected Yvonne was behind my leaving the pack, but he never thought she would go so far just to force me into leaving. This was evil. I will make her pay for this. Zacharias stormed off, ready to confront Yvonne, but he found her and the elders in the judgment chamber, deep in discussion. That stopped Zacharias in his steps. The sight of the elders killed his fury. Nervous, he greeted the elders. Ahmed, the head of the elders, held his walking stick as he waved at Zacharias lovingly. You must hold the bonding ceremony with Yvonne right away. Use the altar. It's already decorated. That decision shocked Zacharias. But why? Lucilla is my rightful mate. The furious Ahmed slammed his walking stick against the ground. Yvonne bears your pup. You will marry her. Lucilla is no longer part of our pack. Zacharias glared at Yvonne with fury strong enough to burn. Yvonne, how dare you? He could not believe Yvonne told the elders about their relationship. He did not see that coming at all. You're the highest ranking member of the pack, Alpha, but the judgment chamber can still keep you in check. You cannot do anything that will hurt the pack. Ahmed eased up a little. And loyalty is a creed werewolves have followed since ancient times. You must face the consequences of your actions. Panicked, Zacharias retorted loudly. And I've told you, what happened with Yvonne was a mistake. The one I love is Lucilla, and she's pregnant with my child too. I must take responsibility for that. That stunned Ahmed, but then he continued coldly. Ms. Lucilla is no longer part of the pack. You are our alpha. You must put our members first. Yvonne is the woman closest to your heart. You cannot turn your back on her. Zacharias thought he would explode with rage. That venomous snake pushed Lucilla into leaving the pack. I would never make her my mate. All I want to do is strangle her. When he looked at Yvonne again, his fury was now hatred. By my authority as alpha, I will now exile her from the pack. The palpable hatred made Yvonne stagger backward. She hid behind Ahmed and sought out his help. I have done nothing to harm the pack, elder. Please don't let the alpha exile me. An angry Ahmed slammed his walking stick against the ground. Do not challenge the judgment chamber, alpha. We have the right to strip you of your status. My departure from the Dawn Pack took me to a minor pack in the south, where it was always warm and sunny. The pack's members did not look down on me despite my disability. Instead, they happily welcomed me. My neighbor, Rona, was a vivaciously adorable lady. She had maroon hair, and it too was curled, and her cheeks were covered in freckles. She would come over to my place every day to talk to my pup. So when's the pup coming out? I can't wait to see it. I was 7 months along and looked healthier than ever. My body grew a little plumper, and it was proof that life had treated me well. I put down the sweater I was crocheting and caressed my belly. A smile curled my lips. Soon. The pup can't wait to see you too. Then Rona remembered something. Gossip. It excited her, and she started talking fast. Do you know anything about the Dawn Pack? That's the second largest pack in Werewolfia. Things have been rowdy for them. The mention of that pack took me out for a moment. It was like an eternity ago for me. I'd stopped thinking about the past for a while now. What happened? I made it a point to ignore everything about Dawn Pack after I left. The separation nearly killed me at first, but then I joined this lovable pack, and the gorgeous view around their land soothed my wounds. Eventually, I started forgetting about my past and lived a new life. I hadn't heard about the pack in 6 months. The Dawn Pack's alpha disagreed with the Judgment Chamber's elders' decision and withdrew from the pack, or so they say. My hand froze, and I raised my head in surprise. Rona was still smiling. She continued, but that's 6 months ago. Old news. Zacharias' departure left the Dawn Pack without any good alpha candidates, so the Judgment Chamber acted as interim leader. There was a she-wolf, Yvonne, I think. She was going to marry Zacharias at first. That she-wolf is amazing. She's the one who handled the pack while Zacharias was gone. Rona continued. The Dawn Pack started whispering among themselves. They thought Yvonne would take over Zacharias and become their alpha. An alpha female, imagine that. I listened to the gossip, stunned and in disbelief. The face of Yvonne showed up in my head. Her rotten personality aside, she was a capable and competent she-wolf, and very much so. So Dawn Pack has appointed her as their next alpha? Rona shook her head. Still excited, she continued. After the ex-alpha and his personal guards left the pack, Zacharias spent 6 months taking out all the criminals in the forest. He killed all the rogues. They've been a thorn in the side for the packs around the forest, but they're slimy. Rona kept going on. The forest is their perfect hiding spot for their crimes. No one could do anything about it until Zacharias showed up. His contributions more than made up for his mistakes. So he returned to the Dawn Pack? I asked. Tangled emotions flickered on my face. I knew why he did that. Annie probably told him the hell I went through. Yes. He resumed his place as Dawn Pack's alpha, and he arrested Yvonne. Rona's eyes were shining like stars. The gossip was more than explosive. The werewolves had enough material to talk about for a long time. He announced all 10 crimes of Yvonne right in front of everyone. Conspiring with rogues, leaking the pack's secrets, harming a fellow pack member, hurting the pack's harmony, abuse of power, and more. She was marked with a sin brand and was exiled to the dark forest. Rona continued. And he claimed that Yvonne's actions harmed his mate, Lucilla Windsor. He doesn't even know if she's still alive, so the moment he established himself, he sent all his men on a search mission. Say, Lucilla, I wonder where his mate is right now. Rona stared at my belly. She probably guessed I was that Lucilla Windsor. She tested me a little. And he told everyone his mate was pregnant when she left. She should be 7 months along now. Do you think that's a coincidence? A frown creased my forehead, but it loosened up right away. As I stared into Rona's eyes, I said, yeah, it is. I can't believe Dawn Pack's Luna shares my name. If you ask me, I think she left the pack because she didn't want to go back. Zacharias probably won't find her now. Rona smiled. You're right. Werewolfia is a big country. It's hard to find someone if they want to hide. Oh, look at the time. I have to go home now. And you should not go out if you can. Your pup's coming soon. I can get you anything you need. Just tell me. I gave her a grateful look. Thank you, Rona. She was kind and sweet. Though she knew who I was, she did not press for answers. Instead, she decided to help me out. With a neighbor like her, I knew my pup would be living a life full of laughter.